Hello and welcome back to the Shepherd's Hut build project. My name is Matt and welcome back to my channel as well. I'm just going to show you what I've been doing today. I've had quite a lot of progress with the Shepherd's Hut, building the walls and framing all of the windows and doors, and I'll just show you now. So you can see here, I decided yesterday on the height that I wanted the walls to be. That was defined by the largest thing that I have, which are the doors. That's the largest opening. So I've made it only 50mm above the door, and I'm setting the door just above the base frame. So I've cut this away rather than putting the door frame on top of this. But yeah, basically I've made all of the holes for the windows. I'll take you on a tour right now. This is a window that's directly opposite to the double doors at the front. They'll have a table and chairs here, so you can look out the window. This is going to be a double opener window, and on this side also in the bedroom this will also have a double opener window, so there's be a lot of light in here. I'm also going to have a massive roof light, which is going to be, I haven't decided yet, I'm going to do either 2 meters in length by 1 meter in width, or 1.5 meters in length and 1 meter in width. I just need to work out the roof scheme and how it all fits together and how much weight it's going to put on, with a blind of course so you can sleep, but you can also look up and see the stars at night if you want to. And then over here I've also framed a 550 by 450 window, but I'll give you a bit more detail on how to do that. So usually when you frame a stud wall, you basically put studs every 600mm center to center. So this center of the stud will be 600mm away from this center of the stud, and if you have a space that is not enough to provide 600 again afterwards, that's okay. You can just make your last stud 600, and then whatever gap is left over, just leave the gap whatever it is. And the reason you do that is because it makes it easier to screw things that are a certain size. So I've got OSB board for the outside of the hut, and I'm using this to make everything level and square. This is 1.22 meters in width by 2.44 meters in height. I've chopped it down actually, so it's about 2,222mm in height now. But the reason why you have 600mm studs is so that you can screw them in, and you finish your OSB board halfway through the stud so that you can screw into it and then start your new board and go to the next bit and finish halfway and then go to the next bit. So just bear that in mind when you're building a shepherd's hut, otherwise you're going to end up using more wood by putting a piece on the end again. Maybe you've finished here and you now have to put another piece of wood here. So just bear in mind what you're actually going to be screwing to the outside. If you're putting plasterboard inside, which I don't advise, because shepherd's huts are probably not a good idea for plaster because they'll probably wobble and move around as you transport them. So I'm putting tongue and groove cladding all over the inside because it's stronger and it won't crack if things move around in the wind or when it's being towed around the field. So yeah, double opener window. What I've done here is I've measured the window, which is exactly 750mm in height and it's 950mm in width, but then I've added on an extra 5mm just so I have a bit of wiggle room to make sure the window is straight and so it fits in nice and easily. And then that 5mm gap, I'm using packers to fill that gap. When that 5mm gap is left over on the outside, it won't be visible because the cladding will butt all the way up to it, and you can just fill that with expanding foam or silicone, whatever you choose to use. So this one, for example, I've made the hole 555mm in height because the window is 550, and the width I've made 455mm in width because the window is 450 exactly, just for an extra bit of wiggle room. With the height of the windows, you probably saw in the time-lapse video, basically all I did was I put a board down on the floor, sat down on a chair, and then just figured out where I wanted it to be. And when you stand up, you can see from my height, this is eye level now, it's slightly lower than my head level, but I figured that I'm fairly tall, so most people will probably be like this. Girls are usually on average slightly smaller than guys, so I've made it so it's a good average height, and that ended up being 930mm above the stud at the base here. So if you want to copy exactly the design that I'm using, you can just measure up 930mm to here. Tomorrow I should have all the OSB board up. This is the OSB board, and once that's all done, I'll start wrapping the whole thing with breathable membrane, which is like a waterproof breathable building paper. I'll put a link in the description for that when I do that video. But yeah, it's all going well at the moment, and I'm excited to finish the walls of the cladding and also get the roof on. So keep watching, and hopefully you are enjoying these updates. Tomorrow I'll update you again if I've done much more. If I haven't, then I won't, but hopefully you're enjoying the video. As usual, if I've spoken about any products in this video or the next video, they'll all be in the links in the description, so you don't have to go looking for them yourself. I've been using from Toolstation 90mm screws only because 80mm screws have been sold out, but I've actually started to prefer these 90mm screws because you can get deeper into the next material below. Usually 2x4 treated stud wood is 95mm by 45mm, and if you've got a 90mm screw and you screw through like this, it can poke out the other side. But I haven't actually ended up screwing directly through 2 pieces of wood in any of this stud work, and 90mm screws will give you a lot more grip on the next piece of wood that you're screwing through. So I've actually decided that 90mm screws are my new favourite screw to use for stud work. So hopefully that's been useful, and we'll see you guys in the next video. There is a deer in the farm. Can you see it? Oh.